This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
All right. Good evening, New York City, and of course, good morning, Philippines. It's another Tuesday here in New York. Apologies because I have not been online lately with a couple of reasons, for health reasons, and we're trying to set up our studio. But it's nice to be back here, and I'm very, very happy, and I hope everyone's doing the same. But before I move on, because I have literally 45 minutes with her, with my very, very special guest, but I would just like to thank JSI Productions for a attended event and a very successful kamikaze show. And of course, congratulations to H. Angeles for launching his debut single sa Kalawakan under Janbi Music, and congratulations for opening for kamikaze and alongside with all of the performers that night. So after the pandemic, New York is pretty much hype up with all the concerts and events happening around. And one of the few that we are very excited about, dahil mapapanood na namin ulit ang singer, performer, multi-awarded actress all over, from the Philippines, who popularized the hit songs. Ako, my personal favorite ako dyan. Later on, kukwento ko kung bakit. Paalam na Mr. Cupido, bulag sa katotohanan, nakapagtataka, may minamahal. And I was a big fan and a huge fan of That's Entertainment. That's where I always, magka-edad kami nito kaya yung generation namin, but swak na swak, and I've been following her ever since she was launched in the entertainment business. But of course, syempre, with all her talents as a singer and a performer, who would not want to see her live? Without further ado, first time on Get Real TV on PHLV Radio, let us welcome Miss Rachel Alejandro.
Hi guys! Good evening to you, Jan, fellow New Yorker.
Oo nga. I was surprised to actually
we're
know.
in the same city.
Nandito na tayo. Nandito ka sa New York nowadays.
Yeah, I've been spending more and more time here in New York. My husband moved here in 2017. And balik-balik pa rin naman ako talaga sa Philippines because, of course, the most part of my work is still there. But nung nag-umpisang pandemic, medyo wala tayo munang trabaho, kaya I found myself, staying here in New York more to be with him. And medyo nagugustuhan ko na rin. Medyo parang starting to feel like home. But of course, hello, I just wanted to greet also people watching us in Las Vegas, everyone, all the Pinoys in the West Coast tuning in right now, also in the East Coast, and of course, everywhere else. And of course, good morning sa mga kababayans natin watching from the Philippines.
So nga I was actually very excited. To be honest, I had a couple of friends who was with you sa That's Entertainment. Yeah, like Smokey, Ryan, Soler, because they were my schoolmates in college.
Really?
But, and I always go to Broadway to actually watch you. And then sinusundan
Broadway Central.
Diba? Remember that?
Blast from the past.
Exactly. And sinusundan ko ang mga bawat hit songs na inilalabas ni Rachel Alejandro.
Thank you.
Moving forward 4 to 8 years down the line, how is Rachel Alejandro? What's keeping her busy these days?
Well, towards the beginning of the year, when it was still medyo uncertain pa noon kung kailan babalik ang mga live events, live concerts, I started auditioning for acting jobs dito sa US. And fortunately naman, I was able to I was able to book a few. There's one film that I did earlier in the year na hindi pa napapalabas. It's actually going to be a TV movie. It's called Sinister Cover-Up. And that's, I think, in post-production right now. Another one in post-production is another film yung dinirect ito at produce ng kaibigan ko na Tony and Grammy Award winner, Jet Tolentino. It's called Asian. Yeah. Yes, Asian, of course, fellow New Yorker as well. Starring Casey Concepcion, and that will be shown, I believe, in international film festivals muna yata before it goes on a theatrical screening, a regular theatrical screening. So that's called Asian Persuasion, and we finished filming that earlier this year again also. And I've been doing auditioning for commercials. May nakuha na rin ako. So far, isa pa lang naman. Mga internet ads, things like that. So yun ang pinagkakaabalahan ko mostly dito sa New York. But at the same time, nung May naman, nag-start na at nagtuloy-tuloy na rin one on top of the other ang mga concerts. So I'm actually in the thick of a US concert tour. But in the middle of all of that, I was able to fortunately visit our kababayans also in Toronto recently. So next year, baka puro Canada naman ang maging tour ko. But for this year, book na talaga all the way until the end of October. For US cities. Yeah.
I know. October 1st, you'll be having your concert here. But before we talk about that, Rachel, of all the hit songs, now we're 48 years old. Kasi magkita ko sa ko, okay, magkaedad talaga kami. It's in Wikipedia, of course. But you don't look like it. You know, you look very vibrant. You still look pretty. You still have that same tone and that same sound when you were a lot younger. But of all the hit songs that you actually released, what was your most favorite for the most part?
I would have to say it's probably the one I wrote, co-wrote with Ding Dong Avanzado, yung Paalam Na. So of course, kasi syempre, Love Your Own, di ba? So since that's a song that I co-wrote, that would probably be the most meaningful. And maybe that's one of the reasons then that song definitely contributed to the fact na nung nag-promote ako na itong bago kong album under Star Music, the Star Music executives thought na ang parang gamitin na parang tagline for my, I guess, comeback in the recording industry was to call me the queen of heartbreak songs. Kasi diba, the most pop, hindi naman lahat ng kanta ko is about heartbreak, but siguro yung mga heartbreak songs yung talagang tumatak, lalo na sa mga kababayan natin, at as you said, na mga ka-generation natin. And of course, that was the music that we were listening to when we were younger. And mas ang pinakasumikat sa mga kanta ko are the heartbreak songs.
Oo nga, bakit palaging gano'n? Well, actually, this generation would always refer to those heartbreak songs like mga hugot songs. Little did we know that years and years and years ago sa generation natin, mga millennials, andun na yung hugot songs. But since you co-wrote this song with Ding Dong, apart from that, ano pa yung next favorite mo?
This one was a surprise, kasi. I guess this is for a whole other reason kung bakit ko siya naging favorite. Naging favorite ko talaga din yung Kay Tagal. The reason being that when I recorded the song, I didn't really, parang hindi naman siya sobrang favorite ko, basta it was just one of the songs na binigay sa akin yung recording company and nung producer nung first album ko. Kasi this was maybe like the third song that I recorded for that album. And hindi nga nila, akala nila magiging parang album cut, no? Yung song na yun. But for some reason, pinili yun talaga ng mga DJs to play. Parang sila yung, they made it into a hit actually. Kasi hindi naman yun yung pinupush ng record label eh. They were trying to push another song na hindi naman sumikat. So parang it was an accidental hit in a way. Kasi parang nagustuhan lang ng mga DJs at that time. And I was just very, very surprised because when I guested in a ano ko special guest ako dun sa concert ni Gary Valenciano at the time. So the year was 1990. I was 16 years old.
Yes.
And I was very, very nervous to be on stage there with Mr. Pure Energy himself. And dinuwet namin yung wag mo na sanang isipin, minash up niya with Kulang sa Pansin.
Kulang sa Pansin.
One of my hits at that time. So, syempre, sing and dance. Tapos, after that, ni-request nila na, kantahin mo as your solo spot yung Kay Tagal. Pero, syempre, at that time nga, dahil nga parang kakastart pa lang niya, parang hindi talaga siya kasi ni-release as a single at all. Nagulat talaga ako na kinanta siya nung there must have been like 10,000 people in the audience. And nagulat talaga ako na kinanta nila sabay-sabay yung kanta na yun. So I guess, yun yung first taste ko kasi, syempre as a young girl, di ba, na parang unang-una kong experience tumapak sa isang stage to perform for such a huge amount of people. And yun yung first time ko talaga ako kinilabutan na parang ito na yon, alam mo yon, na parang
this is it.
This is it, as they say. So yun, I guess that's why it will always be, a special memory to me. Na I guess will always stick in my mind na parang when I was 16, ito yung isa sa mga pinaka-precious na alaala ko from that time.
So moving forward, decades down the line, after you released your first hit song, and then you went on co-producing, if I read it right, yung Larawan, which you Joanna Ampil co-starred with you, which is a very good friend of mine, high school classmate
really?
ko from from first to fourth year.
Very, very small world.
Very, very small world. Why did you actually venture into film production?
What happened kasi is that when I was like in my early 20s, at that time, very active pa noon, it was actually not a theater company at the time. It was a company, an entertainment company that would produce original Filipino musicals. So, nung 1997, 1998, we released, that company produced a musical called Ang Larawan. No? It starred Celeste Legazpi, Jaja Padilla. It starred my dad, actually. My dad was there. And dahil nga nandun yung dad ko, lagi kasi ang head nung company na yon is my manager, si Girly Rodis and Celeste Legazpi. So, hindi pa ako part of the cast nung unang na yon. But I fell in love with the music. Gusto ko yung music. Plus the fact nga na nandun yung dad ko. So, the following year, they had to do they had to replace one of the lead actors in that musical. And kahit na hindi bagay sa akin yung role at that time, kasi yung role na yun, pang 40 plus yung role na yun, yung lead role na yun. They didn't have a choice at the time kasi parang instantly kailangan nilang i-replace. Nagkasakit yung lead actress namin. I had to step in for her. Buti na lang, kabisado ko na kasi yung songs from the year before pa lang. And also because nga I would be there all the time, because my dad was in it, and na in love talaga ako dun sa music. So through the years, syempre that was more than 20 years ago, through the years, we would always talk about it, like favorite namin yung Ang Larawan, and we would always talk about parang just for fun lang na parang imagine if we could make it into a film. Ayun. So dun na yun. Di ba nga, when you talk about something often enough, di ba, minsan
it
your
happens.
Words become reality. And, bigla, I guess one thing just led to another, and we finally found the funding. We found investors that also shared our vision for the movie. So I think I would have to say that it's probably one of the first films na mapapanood nila, first Filipino films na mapapanood nila. For those of you who have never seen Ang Larawan, it's a musical film in the sense na nag-uusap, bigla na lang yung usapan magiging kanta. I mean, kinakanta na yung usapan. Diba?
Right.
So it's different. It's very, very, very different. And of course, it's based on the work of national artists, Nick Joaquin, Rolando Tino, Ryan Cayabyab. At that time, even the set, yung original musical sa CCP, the set was by Badong Bernal, who is also another national artist. So it's the work of national artists. Kumbaga, bigatin.
Yes, I know.
Bigatin siya.
We've had that being talked about, amongst our groups. Because before I was part of the International Film Festival of Manhattan here in New York.
Wow.
Sabi ko, I hope that we could show that, off Broadway.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Because that was like a really beautiful piece.
Yes,
but Rachel, with all your achievements, with all that had happened in the past, with your personal life, now, where are you actually moving or gearing towards that? Are you more keen in doing shows, concerts, or you would want to dive into film production more? Magkaroon ng follow-up yung larawan.
Actually, may follow-up na talaga kami. It's just that we had already, in fact, filmed some scenes for the film. The title of the film was the title of the film is Song of the Fireflies, and it's set in Bohol. So we started filming that. Our lead star is Morissette Amon, and we started filming it in 2019, late 2019, and yung schedule ng principal photography was 2020. Alam niyo na kung anong nangyari. 2020.
Right.
So we are striving to get that back on track. Ngayon, medyo meron na kaming mga schedules, may timetable na kami, and we're looking at, hopefully, fingers crossed, early 2023 to shoot the main body of the film, and we hope na, kasi nga ito nga yung nangyari, so kids yung bida namin, aside from Morissette, kids yung bida namin. But can you imagine, ilang years na yung tumakbo,
tumanda na sila.
Ano nang nangyari? So, we're like, paano na kaya? Iba na yung itsura ng mga bata. So,
I know.
Yeah,
so
it's a story of a children's choir in Bohol, Lobok. It's the Lobok Children's Choir. So it's a true story, actually. I'm also a part of that film, and of course, I'm one of the producing team as well. I mean, ako naman, I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of that. What I do miss talaga is live theater. I really miss doing, my usual. Usually, kasi once a year, I do a musical, I do a play. So far, yan talagang medyo, I guess, medyo matatagalan because ngayon pa lang talaga nagsastart bumalik ang mga musicals sa atin. I've heard that a couple of productions have just started and mukhang parang doing well naman. Pero parang ang alam ko, may restrictions pa rin na parang half pa lang yung allowed na capacity. Half.
Right.
So medyo mahirap pa rin siya for producers.
Are you looking into auditioning for a Broadway or off-Broadway show here in New York City, since we are in the Broadway capital of the world, where like theater plays? Are you keen in looking into that part of your career?
It's a bit difficult right now because of the schedule being what it is. Kasi yun nga, medyo puno na rin yung schedule ko until the end of the year. I have concerts na rin nga in the Philippines for December. So book na ako dito sa US until end of October. And then November na lang baling natira. Kasi that's the thing with musicals, is you have to give, I think, at least 6 months.
6 months
of rehearsals, and of course the actual shows, diba? The actual run. So, medyo mahahaba. Nakikita ko kasi minsan sa mga casting notices, parang you have to be free from this month to next year. Ganun, dapat mabigay mo sa kanila yung 6 months ng buhay mo. So, medyo wala pa akong ganun right now.
Wala pa.
Pero syempre, you never know, diba? I'm not closing my doors. You never know, baka at the end of 2022, baka may, I see something that I can audition for at the end of the year that's for 2023. So, malay nyo, di ba? Baka
Ayan.
swertehin tayo.
Who knows?
And then,
Well,
yeah.
hindi ako magtataka. Soon,
But you know,
mapapanood
I'm
ka
not,
rin naman namin.
unlike Joanna, di ba, si Joanna talagang tuloy-tuloy, Joanna
Yes.
Ampil, you know, in the West End, di ba, currently, you know, she's constantly working, she's constantly in a musical. Yun nga, mas nalinya talaga ako sa concerts eh. So, parang, even if first, I would have to really say na talagang dream ko and first love ko talaga ang gumawa ng musicals. Siyempre, iba pa rin yung, nandiyan yung
Nakalakihan na,
ino-offer
ayan na.
sa'yo eh.
Right.
Alam mo yun?
It's already
so, mahirap hindian.
It's already on your lap. You cannot say no.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Rachel, there are so many aspiring artists. As you know, there are a couple of people who opened for your past shows here in New York and all over the United States. There are so many talented Filipinos. What are some advices that you can share to all of them to keep you relevant, to keep you afloat, or to even just stay in this industry for a long time? Because that's more than 3 decades of being in showbiz or being in the performing arts. Ano yung naging tool mo? Why is Rachel Alejandro still Rachel Alejandro right now?
I guess resilience. You will have your heart broken, and I'm gonna, kasi you said, diba, give advice to the young ones, to the ones that are just starting out. I just, on last Saturday, I did a concert in New Jersey for some nurses, a nurses association there, and of course may mga front acts doon, young girls na, parang I wanted, syempre parang they're looking at me and I feel so old. Parang ganun looking at them, but
right.
Parang yun nga, parang parang naisip ko nga din yun. Parang what would I tell them? One thing I can say is you have to be prepared. Of course there will be wins, there will be achievements. There will be days when, for instance, if you would be fortunate enough, for instance, to have record your own single, to record something and have a song actually released on whatever it is these days. Kasi na, 'di ba, nung araw, 'di ba, record label and then i-release as a CD, or in fact yung mga una ko pang
multiplex
albums, ay cassette at saka yung
cassette.
Talaga vinyl, 'di ba?
Vinyl.
Nowadays, 'di ba, nowadays kasi you can release your own music. You can have your own label. You can have your own you can release it yourself on Apple Music, on Spotify and all this stuff.
So
but if you were to have, let's say, an opportunity to have even just one hit song na, let's say, nagustuhan ng mga tao, had a decent amount of streams, kasi ganun na ngayon, di ba? Streams.
Uso na. Yeah,
diba?
Right.
Yun na ngayon ang bilangan, streams. Just be prepared that, there will be good days and there's going to be bad days. And it's what you do on the bad. It's when you fall flat on your face, what you do with that really decides your longevity. Because there were so many times that I wanted to gusto ko labunin ako ng lupa, whether it be things went wrong during a concert, and that happened to me, of course, during my first major concert in the Philippines. Things went wrong with the costume, all that. There were days na walan ako ng boses sa sobrang stress, all of that. All the heartbreaks will happen to you. But you know what? It's what you do. It's about you picking yourself up and facing the audience again, wiping your tears and getting back out there and saying, you know what? Tao lang ako. Things go wrong.
Exactly.
Guys, the minute that actually tinanggap ko yon na okay lang palang magkamali, okay lang na mawala ng boses, kasi they're not there naman to see a perfect performance. They're there to see you. They're there to see you. And you're human, That's why, di ba, may times pipiyok tayo. May times mawawala tayo sa tono. May times mapa-flat tayo. Pero okay lang yon.
The show must go on.
Yeah,
Okay
not
lang, right.
everyone is Lea Salonga who is never ever flat or sharp.
That's right.
Tao lang yung iba.
That's
So
right.
be forgiving of yourself. I guess that's what I would say. And learn how to laugh at yourself and just say, "Oh my God, that was so bad. I'm gonna do better tomorrow."
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
tomorrow or the next show is another day or is another
Yes,
show
you live to
for you
fight
to
another
learn.
day. For sure.
You live it, you appreciate, you embrace everything. But what was your greatest struggle during the pandemic, Rachel? From the Philippines and to New York, to the United States.
The struggle really was initially fear for my loved ones, fear of being left behind. It was a unique it was a unique case wherein that if, let's say, kunyari, if my husband were to get COVID and be hospitalized and all that, na ano man ang mangyari sa kanya, you can't even be with him, diba? They would be taken from you and that's it, And then there would be nobody there to help you or to support you. Your family couldn't just show up, diba? Kasi diba, iba nung pandemic, walang lumalabas ng bahay, diba? So initially, yun talaga. I was so scared that would happen to my husband and it freaked me out. I didn't want to leave the house initially. Siguro first 6 weeks, I didn't leave the house. And I was fighting with my husband. Ko, wag ka nang lumabas. That was the biggest challenge. And then, it became
in the Philippines, or were you here?
I was here in New York. So,
nice.
diba, epicenter tayo, Caloocan.
Right.
Caloocan dito. And then, after I got over that, nung nahimasmasan, na okay naman pala, carry lang, it became about naman the joblessness. So, I really questioned, like, oh my God, like, when are we singers going to be able to get back to doing what we do? And imagine, it took almost 2.5 years for us to have work again.
And how did you manage? What did you do those 2.5 years without live shows?
Yeah, so income-wise, it was really bad. But luckily, I, nagplant ako ng seeds. Kasi it was a good time to plant seeds, di ba? Kasi nga, kahit na wala kang real work, as they say, as in work in the sense that you really, have talent fee, etc. ABS-CBN gave me a teleserye. So that was a broken marriage vow. And even if, it was kind of hard because, nag-lockdown sa Philippines and we couldn't shoot in Baguio. And it took like 6 months to shoot the entire thing, off and on, no? And it was a hardship on me and my husband kasi nandito siya sa New York, ako nasa Philippines. But that really, that exposure, I guess, on ABS-CBN really gave birth to all of this opportunity for 2022. So dahil nga, syempre pag napanood ka nila sa TFC, people get interested again. So parang, in a way, yung last year, even if that was financially a very hard year, this year bumawi because syempre because of the teleserye, dumami naman. So, so yun. So in a way, all in all, okay naman. It's
still good.
Yeah, still good. Still good.
We still have a lot of things to be grateful for. And with that, let us talk about your October 1st concert here in New York. We'll flash your poster and then I'll ask you a couple of questions. There you go. Miss Rachel Alejandro at the Haven on October 1st, with, of course, featuring Stephen
Paisu.
Stephen Paisu, and of course H. Angeles and Queen's project, of course, by produced by Jason's. Nakaloko, papatay na ka ni Jason. I forgot his production outfit. But Rachel,
Queen's project and AMJ production.
Yes, there you go. So, of course, the Queen of Heartbreak Songs is back, of course, in concert in New York City. What is there to look forward to? How is this different from your other concerts?
Yeah, well, this is still part of the the concert tour of that I've been doing. So it is basically well, it's a tour. So of course, this is basically the same show that I'm bringing to different cities for 2022.
Mm-hmm.
One great thing about this show in New York is that we're featuring a live band, and there are many talents that will be performing, including you mentioned nga kanina, your husband will be performing there.
Yes, H. Chin
And
is there.
yes, and it will be
Giselle.
my first time to be doing a production number with Steven Paisu. So I know he guested also sa show ko sa LA, pero doon kasi we didn't sing together. He had, he sang only a few songs. Pero I think dito he will really be performing with the band, and then we are doing a very special number, a surprise number for all of you. And yeah, so I'm super excited about that. Again, it's in D Haven in Queens. I've actually performed there before, pero it was a back-to-back show with my cousin Nino Alejandro.
Nino Alejandro, right?
Yes. So pwede na kayong mag-dinner doon. I know it's a nice Filipino restaurant. You can come as early as 7 p.m. You can have your dinner, you can order your drinks, and the show will start at 8 p.m. or at least the initial performers will be starting at 8 p.m. And you can already get your tickets. You can call Lane at 347-873-5368, Jason at 646-696-6320, or Jen at 929-375-5506. So again, October 1, that's a Saturday night, guys. So it'll be fun kasi in every city actually that I've been to, hindi pa nangyari na hindi nagsayawan yung mga tao.
I'm sure.
By the last
I'm sure.
so many songs of the concert, it became a dance party. So get ready to, wear your comfortable shoes, get ready, put on your party outfit, because it is more than a concert, it's going to be a party, because it's going to be our time to be celebrating, of course, our music, our time, diba? Our time meaning the music from our generation.
The music of our genre.
Yes, especially the danceable stuff, yung mga dance moves natin from way back. Pakawalan na natin yan dyan.
Excited ako dyan. I'm very excited. Of course, we're looking forward to hearing those popularized hit songs.
And of course, my hit songs.
And of course, yung dance moves na ating generation. Excited na rin ako. Maraming makaka-relate dyan. Rachel, any last words? Please do invite them, or any word of inspiration to all of your viewers, supporters, friends, and family.
Yes. So before anything else, I do want, for all of our kababayans tuning in from around the US, I just, hopefully, kayo yung next city na pupuntahan ko. Very grateful because my September 3 concert in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, this coming Saturday is already sold out. September 24, I'll be in Rochester, New York. Hindi pa ako nakakapunta dyan. So, excited ako. My sister went to school in Rochester, actually, for college. October 1, of course, Queens at D Haven. October 8, I'll be returning to Anchorage, Alaska. It has been many years since the last time I did a performance there.
Wow, and that's way far out, huh?
So excited. I know I will be doing a San Antonio, Texas with Joey G, but I think finalize pa if that's going to be a San Antonio or an Austin, Texas concert. And that was originally scheduled for October 14. I think the venue is being finalized as we speak. October 16, we will be at the Sari Sari Festival once again with Joey G. And also JR will be joining us and some other performers. That's October 16 in Arlington, Texas, for the Sari Sari Festival. And lastly, October 22, I'm going to be in Portland, Oregon. And my guest for that is Michael Ligo, who actually is a dear old friend of mine all the way back from when I was a teenager on the show, Aawitan Kita. I don't
Nako,
know if you guys remember that. Oh my God.
Matagal na talaga yan.
Ang
That's
tagal na
ages
nun.
ago.
Teenager pa ako noon when I was on that show. So he was regular on that show as well. So definitely we will be reminiscing the good old days.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, I still have some. I have a concert in the Philippines coming up, pero December pa yon, and that's going to be with my dad. Watch out kasi marami pang mga. Hopefully, matuloy pa yung mga iba pang cities that are actually kind of naghahanap ng mga venues as of right now. And I'll be sure to announce all of that very, very soon. And my final words to all of, before I go, I just want to thank you, Jan, for having me.
Thank you. Thank you,
And more power to PHLV Radio. And of course, Get Real. And saying hello to my producers. See you all, yung producers ko for my Queen's concert, and to everybody here in New York. We're gonna have fun. I'll see you there on October 1.
Ayan, 'di ba? Hindi kumukupas ang galing ang kanyang artistry, and of course that boils down to when you are an enthusiast of life and you simply just want to embrace it, hug it, live it, and enjoy it. And of course, pour your passion alongside with the skills or the talents that God had blessed you. Rachel Alejandro, for decades and decades in the industry, is coming back, of course, for another show here in New York City. Hindi nagbabago at maganda pa rin. But I hope you guys had learned a lot of things from a multi-awarded singer, performer, and an actress for tonight's episode. Thank you, Rachel. Maraming salamat for being with us, and we wish you well. Please come back to promote your next or upcoming shows if ever. Know that PHLV Radio Get Real TV is here to support you and the rest of the production who's doing all your shows all around the globe. And meanwhile, stay healthy. You need a lot of vitamins. Stay hydrated. It's quite hot in New York City. But most of all, thank you and always have fun.
Bye. See you.
Thank you, Rachel. That was really fun. That was a fun interview. Parang nag-travel back in time ako sa aming generation years and years ago. But of course, we're looking forward to a lot of great performances of a lot of artists here in New York City. Along these lines, happening here in New York is one of the biggest Filipino festival on September 17. That is Jeepney in America. That's going to be a 4-hour-long event with music, food, and a lot of things happening here in Queens. So please don't forget to check out RJP Productions, who is organizing this event, in Project Barkada, and of course a lot of artists will be performing, Angel Ram, and so much more. H. Angeles is gonna be there, at saka marami tayong mga performers na magbibigay sa atin ng saya for 4 straight hours. And of course, I would like to invite you for Ethel Buba concert, of course, on September 23. You can contact me, of course, also for the tickets, alongside with a lot of artists. And October 1st, that's Rachel Alejandro. And November is 6 Cycle Minds, and so much more. We'll keep you posted because there are so many things happening here in New York City. But just the same, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Jason, and the rest of your team for allowing this interview to happen. Maraming salamat po. It has been a beautiful Tuesday evening here in New York City on PHLV Radio. Please do not forget to check out our website, www.phlvradio.com. And do please check out on Spotify, iMusic, Pandora, YouTube, Instagram, and of course, iHeartRadio. And tune in to all the beautiful music 24/7, and H. Angeles sa Kalawakan, released by Janbi Music, is now out on all your favorite music digital platforms. Please do check it out. www.hangeles.com to check on what's going on around the globe. Thank you so much. It has been a beautiful Tuesday. This is Janette Bocobo signing off.
Is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.